So you want to save your first 100K, but maybe it feels impossible, like you've got bills piling up or your paycheck's already stretched thin. And trust me, I get it. When I was on the journey to hitting my first 100K, I was barely making minimum wage. So the idea of ever seeing 6 figures in my own account felt impossible, like a fantasy. But when I figured this strategy out, everything changed. Before we talk about your first 100K strategy, we need to first understand the game that we're actually playing. I want you to think of this like a video game. In order to win, you need to understand the map, recognize the enemies, and choose the right path. And this is where most people fail because they either try to rush through without a plan or get stuck playing survival mode the entire time. In this video, we'll cover the 3 most common paths people take when trying to build wealth and why most people end up stuck on the wrong one, the exact forces and enemies that are working against you that keep most people from building wealth, and the 3 levels you need to complete in order to speed up your journey to 100K. Let's cut to the chase. We all want to be rich and financially free. I don't believe that people end up stuck just because they're lazy or don't want to be financially free. I believe that they become stuck because no one taught them how the game works, and they ended up picking the wrong path without even realizing it. Most people think that their financial life is predetermined on where they were born or who they're born into, and they really believe that there's only 2 paths to building wealth. But what they don't know is there's actually a 3rd path that almost nobody talks about it. Let's break down all 3. Path number 1, the get rich quick route. This is the gambling, high risk, high reward mentality when you're trying to hit big with one lucky break. And people on this path think that wealth generally comes from 1, gambling and betting. Think that you can just flip $100 into $200 and keep doing it and beat the house. Number 2, day trading and meme stocks, where you treat the stock market and investments like a casino trying to flip, $100 into a $10,000 on a call option on GameStop. Number 3, hitting the lottery, relying on straight dumb luck and earning your riches. Number 4, get rich quick schemes like day trading, MLMs, drop shipping, where you kind of buy into this dream or fantasy that you can get rich quick if you just learn this sort of business model. But in reality, you're buying, investing into the fantasy, not even the skills. I myself fell into a lot of these traps, but I mainly lost a lot of money trying to day trade. I thought that trading options were going to be my ticket to wealth, only to lose thousands of dollars on GameStop and probably a couple inches of my hairline. But here's the reality. Over 80% of day traders lose money. And according to a University of California study, only about 1% of all day traders are consistently profitable. And if we're talking about the lottery, the odds are 1 in 300 million, practically impossible. And most get rich quick schemes are designed to just make whoever's selling the course rich, not necessarily you. But here's what might surprise you. Most millionaires are actually self-made. According to research, about 79% of millionaires didn't actually inherit their wealth. So while inheritance, sounds amazing, it's not the path that most actually wealthy people took. And then there's path 2, the lifestyle inflation trap. This is where people who may be earning lots of money end up living paycheck to paycheck due to bad spending habits. This is the classic poor rich scenario. And people on this class usually, 1, inflate their lifestyle whenever they receive more money. 2, thinking making money is all that it takes to build wealth, which leaves them to live paycheck to paycheck because anything that comes in goes right out. And so at the end of the day, even though they may be working hard, they have nothing left over to show for it. And I've seen this firsthand. I have friends who are doctors, lawyers, software engineers who are making 200K plus a year, but somehow they're still broke and have nothing in their bank account. And this happens to everyone. It's just in our human nature. When I first started to make a lot of money, my first instinct was to buy a new Tesla car, to move out and move into a high rise and buy new clothes, stuff that I could never afford usually. And this is why learning how to manage your money is so important, because it doesn't really matter how much money you make, it matters how much you save. Just think about the people who win lotteries. Studies show that 70% of the lottery winners, despite making hundreds of million dollars, go broke within just a few years. And the worst part is, this path often leads people to work harder and harder, thinking the solution is just to make more money, when the real problem is their spending habits. And now we have path 3, the middle way. This is the boring, consistent route that actually works and builds your wealth. It's not flashy, it's not sexy, it's not super exciting, but it's the surest and most guaranteed way to build wealth. And the middle way works like this. Number 1, increase your income strategically. Number 2, decrease your expenses intentionally. And number 3, investing the difference consistently over the long term. And I know this is where I might lose you because it sounds cliche, I'm not your parents, but this is the truth. As NYU professor Scott Galloway says, the good news is I know how to make you rich. The bad news is you're not gonna like it because it's slow. Now, this path requires that you take strategic risk, not putting it all on black trying to turn 100 into 100,000, but calculated moves like investing into index funds for the long term, or building skills that increase your earning potential, and making intentional choices about what you actually spend your money on. So far, we quickly covered all 3 paths. And as you see next, path 3 is the only sustainable and true path to building real wealth. Now, I just have a quick question for you. Have you ever felt like you're doing the right thing with your money, with your life, but somehow you're still not in the position that you'd want to be in, or you're still not getting ahead? There's a reason for that, and it has to do with the 4 invisible forces that are working against you right now. These are the enemies and bosses that you're gonna face in this game of wealth. Number 1, inflation. I mentioned this countless times in all these videos, but this is where basically the prices of things go up because the value of your dollar goes down. And this is the silent killer that chips away at your money every single day, 24/7. And over the past century, US inflation has averaged around 3% annually. But in the recent years, it has spiked to as high as 8%. Now, I know that may not sound like a lot, but compound this loss over years, and over time, it's pretty brutal. For example, if you leave $10,000 sitting in your checking account, earning 0% in interest, at 3% inflation, in just 10 years, that $10,000 is gonna be worth $7,441 in today's value. And inflation will hit everything: groceries, rent, gas, healthcare, education, everything. So if your money's just sitting in the bank account, not actively growing and collecting dust, you aren't doing just nothing, you're going backward. Number 2, high interest debt. Things like credit cards, personal loans, car payments, and other high interest debt that lock you in a vicious cycle of monthly payments that at times become nearly impossible to dig yourself out of. For example, the average credit card interest rate in the US is around 24%, meaning if you have a $5,000 balance and you're only making minimum payments, it could take you up to 17 years to pay it off, and you'd be paying thousands of dollars in extra interest. And that's why it's super important to manage your money and your spending correctly. Any debt that is charging you more than 6 to 8% is just an anchor that's going to keep you stuck from ever building real wealth, and it's just going to make other people rich off of you. Think the human batteries in the Matrix. That's you, but to the banks and the credit card companies. And number 3, lifestyle inflation. Like we talked about, it's this tendency to increase your spending as your income also increases. This is why people who are earning $200,000, $300,000 more a year can still be broke despite earning, a ton of money. And it's the same trap that celebrities and athletes making hundreds of millions of dollars fall into all the time. For example, the famous boxer Mike Tyson. In his career, he earned around $400 million, but he then declared bankruptcy thanks to his spending habits and poor financial decisions. $400 million. How do you even spend $400 million? I don't know. And this is often one of the biggest obstacles to people trying to build wealth. And it's not just because people have no self-control, it's because there are trillion-dollar, billion-dollar corporations that are spending billions of dollars in marketing and psychology to get you to buy their product. So you're not just trying to fight off your own impulses, you're also fighting against the best psychologists and marketers that money can buy. And so I want you to think of these forces like gravity. Every time you try to climb up, they're dragging you back down. Inflation chips away at your cash. High interest debt compounds against you and keeps you stuck. And lifestyle inflation erases any of your hard work, putting you back to square one. But the good news, you can stop them. And now that you know that the enemies that you're facing, it's time to arm yourself with the 3 levels of building wealth. Level 1, defeat high interest debt. Now, this is your most immediate enemy because it's actively working against you every single day. Now, I want you to take a second and just try to think on how much you're actually in debt. Student loans, car payments, credit card, buy now, pay later services. Just think about it and try to tally it in your head. Now, I know that number might scare you into thinking that this is impossible, but I'm going to show you the exact way on how to make that number 0. In my opinion, the best strategy is the debt avalanche method. Step number 1, list all your debts from highest interest rates to lowest. Step number 2, make minimum payments on all your debts. Now, step number 3, which is the most important, put all extra money that you have towards the debt with the highest interest rate. Then step number 4, once you pay that off, move to the next highest interest rate. Then there's the snowball method, which is the complete opposite. Basically, you rent your debt by balance and you attack the smallest one first, working your way up. But it really depends on your personality and your situation. But it's important to know that high interest debt, anything above 6 to 8%, is an emergency, and you need to put all your financial will, all of your energy into paying them off. You will never be able to build effective wealth when you're paying 20% interest on credit cards or have a $500, $700 monthly payment on a car. It's just going to be very, very hard, if not impossible. Level number 2 is to play defense. Now, I want you to take a second and just think about how many subscriptions that you're paying for. Rent, Netflix, gym membership, Athletic Greens. You probably just discovered at least one subscription or charge that you probably forgot about. And that's exactly what we're going to fix on this level. Once you have your debt under control, it's time to strengthen your defenses. Now, this means building your emergency fund. This is 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up, usually in a high yield savings account that will give you at least 4% in interest. And this is going to give you that peace of mind. So if anything happens in your life, if there's any emergencies, you'll be okay. Number 2, track your spending. You can't manage or grow what you don't measure. You need to diagnose yourself financially so you'll understand where your money is going to. The average American wastes around $1,500 a year on unused subscriptions or impulses buy. Again, it's not necessarily your fault. You need to be more intentional with your spending. And then number 4, automate your savings. Set up these automatic transfers from your checking account to your high-yield savings account or your investment profiles to pay yourself first and to really prioritize your future. And then there's level 3 where you play offense. This is where you can potentially accelerate your way up to 100K. Now, there are a couple of ways to do this. Number 1, increase your income. If you have a 9-to-5 job, you can try to negotiate your salary or even try job hopping. According to this study, people who switch jobs every 2 to 3 years actually end up earning 10 to 20% more. Start a side hustle that aligns with your skills. You don't have to start a whole business. You can do DoorDash, Instacart, gig apps like that to where you could be making an extra $100 to $500 a month where you can cover the bills or even fund your investment accounts. Would $500 a month change your life? Most likely. And then number 2, invest consistently. You need to be putting the money that you worked hard for, work hard for you. Because if you're just relying on your income, it's gonna take forever. And you don't wanna be always working that hard. You wanna be able to, retire early and make money in your sleep. So just start with something simple like an S&P 500 index fund. I love VOO, things like that. And you wanna do this as soon as possible so you can take advantage of compound interest, which is literally called the 8th wonder of the world by Einstein. And once you have that set up, automate it. Just like you have your savings automated, you can automate your investments. I started this when I was in college and it really changed my life. I automated at least $200 to $300 a month into these investments and I increased it whenever I could. And this forced me to change my budget, to change my priorities, and really try to focus on my investments. Investing is the ultimate force multiplier. It can help turn your $5 into 20, then 30, and then 40 without you even lifting a finger. And there's this quote from Archimedes that always reminds me of the reason why I invest. And it's give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world. This is how you gain financial leverage, by turning consistent small investments into significant wealth, without grinding 80 hours a week or making $200,000 to $300,000 a year. All that matters is that you're consistent and you do this for the long term. Now, these strategies that I shared today work regardless of your age, income, or your place at work, but they only work if you start now. Every month that you wait is another month that compound interest doesn't hit for you. And that's something you can never get back, time. So the best time to start was 5 years ago, and the next best time to start is right now. And if you want a deeper look on the exact habits and strategies that helped me personally reach 100K at the age of 20, check out the video right here. And if you found this helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more things that school should have taught you. I'll see you next time.